Is the rivalry between Melania and Ivanka Trump really even a thing? Or is there some truth behind their alleged dislike for one another? Body language experts have looked at some of their interactions, and what they found may surprise you. In one of the first ever photographs of Melania, Ivanka, and Donald Trump, there's certainly some interesting body language. In late 1999, the trio attended a New York fashion show together. At the event, Melania looked serious, while Donald and Ivanka were all smiles. At that point, Melania and her soon-to-be husband had been going out for less than 2 years. The list spoke exclusively with body language expert Nicole Moore about Melania's feelings towards Ivanka. Judging by their body language in a photo from the event, Moore explained, Melania does appear tense and somewhat distant from Donald in this picture, while Ivanka's body is softer and she is yielding to her father's embrace. As evidenced by the slight lean in her body toward him, Melania is stiff with her body upright. Moore added that the newness of Melania's relationship with Donald may have had something to do with why she seemed less relaxed than Ivanka. Donald and Melania attended the Met Gala in 2004 as a newly engaged couple. Ivanka was at the event too, and she posed with her father and his new fiancé. Previously, the businesswoman had talked about Melania in an interview with New York Magazine and said overwhelmingly positive things.
I love Melania so much.
Melania seemed more laid back at this event, even with Donald's attention still on Ivanka, but we have to wonder if Melania perceived her as a third wheel on their big night. Nicole Moore detailed Melania's feelings to the list, saying, Melania does appear to be genuinely happy in this picture, as her eyes are crinkling, a giveaway for true happiness. However, Moore also made note of Donald's body language, adding, What's interesting is that at this point, even on their engagement night, Donald's body language indicates he's emotionally closer to Ivanka than to Melania. Fortunately, the future First Lady didn't seem bothered by it. Either that or she was too distracted by their engagement to give it too much thought.
You know, everybody has different opinions.
In 2006, Ivanka joined her father and Melania at the Olympus Fashion Week in Bryant Park. Melania and Donald married in January 2005, so they were still in their honeymoon period at the event. Moore told the list that in a picture from the event, it's clear Melania, Donald, and Ivanka's overall dynamic had evolved. She said, Donald and Melania clearly stand together in unison as a pair in this picture, while Ivanka is behind them, standing as her own separate entity. Melania standing closer to Donald in this picture, indicating more connection with him. Melania presumably felt more confident about her place in Donald's world at this point, which in turn warmed her towards Ivanka. Even in her posture, Melania exuded confidence and security. At a 2007 UNICEF event, Melania and Ivanka were photographed sitting together without Donald present. Moore explained to the list why this was so significant, saying, In this picture, Melania and Ivanka's arms and shoulders are touching as they sit next to each other, indicating closeness, and their bodies appear relaxed, indicating comfort with each other. But Moore also noted that it's not all warm and fuzzy for Melania, adding, However, Ivanka is leaning her head toward Melania and pointing her face slightly toward her, while Melania's shoulder and head are actually tilted away from Ivanka. As Moore pointed out, while Ivanka's body language indicated she was on good terms with Melania, Melania clearly needed more time to connect with her husband's eldest daughter. On June 23, 2008, Donald, Melania, and Ivanka attended a party in New York to introduce the Trump International Hotel and Tower Dubai. Historically, Donald would stand between Ivanka and Melania at public engagements. However, at this event, Donald stood to the side while Ivanka and Melania talked together. Moore told the list how this marked a big moment in Melania's attitude towards Ivanka, saying, Melania's shoulders and jaw are relaxed, and her trademark stiff posture is gone here, indicating she's extremely relaxed in Ivanka's company. Ivanka is leaning her body in toward Melania, indicating closeness and a desire to share her thoughts with Melania. Moore also observed that their relationship is at one of its high points, with both women eager to connect. They both express comfortable body language and are very warm with each other. In fact, they're behaving like friends. At this point in their relationship, any rivalry seemed to evaporate, and Melania and Ivanka could enjoy each other's friendship.
I think it's great.
With the support of his family, Donald Trump announced his bid for the presidency in 2015, and immediately, he and his family hit the campaign trail. In a video from a campaign event in Iowa, we can see how Ivanka took the podium on her father's behalf while Melania stood to the side. Moore told the list how Donald's political career created a shift in Melania's feelings towards Ivanka. She explained that the video clip from Iowa indicated the beginning of an icy patch for Melania and Ivanka, saying, "As Melania is between Donald and Ivanka, her arms are tense and tight by her waist, and when she turns her head in Ivanka's direction, her mouth is tight and she never looks directly in her eyes." Moore noted that it's almost as if Melania didn't want to acknowledge Ivanka, adding, "When Melania has to move over to let Ivanka speak at the podium, her face becomes displeased with tight lips, and she sucks in air as Ivanka starts speaking, indicating she does not want to hear what Ivanka has to say." At the third presidential debate in 2016, Trump's family gathered around him in support. In a video clip of the family arriving at the debate, Melania walked ahead of Ivanka. However, it was clear that Ivanka was a key figure in her father's campaign. Moore spoke about the potential tension between Melania and Ivanka as the latter assumed a primary role in her father's bid for the presidency. She said, "Melania's body language in this clip may be subtly giving away her unhappiness at taking a back seat to Ivanka during the campaign trail. As Melania walks into the event to meet with Donald, she shows no signs of warmth toward him and keeps her body stiff." Moore also noted that Ivanka's body language could not be more different from her stepmother's. As she explained, Ivanka, in contrast, walks confidently into the event with long, steady strides, her shoulders pulled back and her head upright. Moore observed that Ivanka looked happy being in the spotlight at the helm of Donald's campaign, whereas Melania didn't seem comfortable.
It is not concern and focus of mine.
In November 2016, Donald Trump was elected president. The Trump family waited all night to hear the news and came together to celebrate in the wee hours of the morning. In a clip from the celebration, Melania looked disconnected from Ivanka, who stood right next to her. Moore told the list how Melania and Ivanka's body language indicated how they really felt about Donald's win, and how these feelings might have put them at odds with each other. She noted that Ivanka displayed genuine happiness that night, saying, "She's walking very fast, almost bumping into Melania in front of her, who is walking more apprehensively onto the stage." Ivanka's body language here displays that she is so ready for her father to be president. Moore noted that Melania, on the other hand, was still very much processing this development. She said, "She's smiling, but her body language is displaying that she's not quite fully in yet." For Melania, it would take some time before Donald's win and Ivanka's subsequent involvement would sink in. On the day of Donald's inauguration, Melania stood at his right-hand side while Ivanka stood on his left. The two women carried a nearly equal presence that day. In a video clip of the inauguration, the two women appeared to be smiling and excited. Moore spoke about Melania's feelings towards Ivanka at this big event, and the feelings are positive. She told the list, "In this clip at the inauguration, Melania appears to be much more relaxed in Ivanka's presence, and her smile is genuine. Even though Melania didn't make direct eye contact with Ivanka, she seemed perfectly at ease with her stepdaughter." Moore explained, "Melania and Ivanka appear cordial in this clip, but not close, so it's possible that by the inauguration, any tensions between the two of them eased, and they came to a point of acceptance and mutual support for the family and Donald's presidency." There was a lot of talk in the media about Melania's supposedly distant behavior in the White House. Meanwhile, Ivanka took on a position as senior advisor to her father. This led to whispers that Ivanka secretly wanted to take over Melania's First Lady duties.
There's one First Lady, and Melania will be an unbelievable First Lady.
While this didn't exactly happen, the two women shared various roles in the White House, creating an interesting power dynamic between them. In 2017, they celebrated Women's Day at the White House, and in a clip, Melania entered the room last, assuming the role of leadership over Ivanka. The list spoke with body language expert Greg Hartley about Melania's interaction with Ivanka at the event. He explained, "When Melania enters, Ivanka does a slight downright head nod. The nod is something most of us do when we see see someone we know or are closely connected to. Melania warmly recognizes Ivanka here, Hartley observed. He added, Melania holds eye contact until she passes, and then does a reach to the chair of the lady next to Ivanka. That is usually recognition. Hartley assessed that Melania and Ivanka's body language was that of two people on a team together, united by a common mission. There was no evidence of tension between the two. In August 2020, Ivanka introduced her father before he gave his acceptance speech at the Republican National Convention. While Melania was present, she was not as involved in the event. In a clip from the RNC, Melania's facial expression read as uncomfortable, while Ivanka's was elated. While the interaction looks awkward, Hartley observed warmth between Melania and Ivanka. He told the list, "The smile Melania shows Ivanka is actually prolonged compared to the smile she tries to hold after. The smile Melania gave involved the lower lids rising and is more genuine compared to the smile for the audience." Hartley noted that before Ivanka arrived, Melania was gripping her forefinger and thumb as a way of releasing nervous energy. But he also noted that Melania's nervous energy wasn't brought on by Ivanka's presence. Rather, Ivanka might have been a comforting, familiar presence at the event. Following Donald's stint in the White House, the Trump family's dynamic shifted once again. Ivanka has largely separated herself from Donald and his future political aspirations. As such, she separated herself from Melania as well. However, they did come together for the funeral of Ivana Trump, Ivanka's mother, who died on July 14, 2022. In a photo from the funeral, Melania stood with her son Barron and her husband alongside Ivanka and her children. Ivanka delivered her mother's eulogy. Hartley had a lot to say about Melania's interactions with Ivanka at the funeral, noting some general discomfort. He told the list, "Funerals are awkward at best and put people into a model of unfamiliarity." He also noted some stress in Melania's body language, adding, "Something is causing her distress there, and it doesn't appear to be Ivanka." So Melania's discomfort was likely caused by something else entirely, and it could very well have been Donald's renewed political interests. Hartley did hypothesize that some of Melania's distress could be concern for Ivanka and Donald's other children, who just lost their mother.